Spoiler alert! Okay, I had to get that out there. And the spoiler isn't about Eye in the Sky, although there might be a couple of those to a small degree, but I'm actually talking about a spoiler from Breaking Bad. It's been long enough, right? Okay, so you know how in Season 3, Episode 13, Full Measure, Jesse shows up to Gale Boetticher's house with a gun, and Gale is pleading for Jesse not to hurt him, but Jesse knows that if he doesn't kill Gale, then Gustavo Fring is gonna whack both him and Walt by the ultimate badass Grandpa Mike, and so Jesse is forced into a position of violence that he never wanted? Well, it was a really powerful moment in context, but somebody out there saw it and thought, you know what would be awesome is if we took that moment between Jesse and Gale and we stretched it out into a movie, and someone else was like, awesome, who do you want for it? And they were like, what do you mean? We're making that moment into a movie, so get Jesse Pinkman. I mean, get Aaron Paul. He's already perfected crying with his finger on the trigger, so here we have Eye in the Sky, which deals with the trolley dilemma-esque concept of killing a few to save many. Kind of like that moment from Breaking Bad, but closer to something like Jack from Speed saying he'd shoot the hostage, or Mr. Declan's plan from Kingsman, or the Imitation Game Battleship, or the ending of Watchmen. Whoa! Spoiler alert! Okay, so it's not the first time we've dealt with this issue, but Eye in the Sky doesn't just touch on the subject on the surface. It straps on its scuba gear and dives way down to get a really good look. Runs out of air, comes up for more, does the dive again. Runs out of air, comes up for more, does the dive again, this time with a sledgehammer. So the movie is basically one military official saying, we need to strike now, and someone else going, we can't, there's civilians in the area, and someone else going, we need to take this to the top, and calling their supervisor, who then goes through the process again, hands it back down, and then wash, rinse, repeat. Now, I'll give it this piece of praise, which is that I did go back and forth in terms of which side I was in agreement with throughout the film, as there's a persuasive argument to be made either way. But that same back and forth goes on long enough for it to become a slapstick routine, and the emotional rising strings that eventually try to pull a sorrowful tear out of me come across as comical when I remember that only moments ago I had the pleasure of watching Jorah Mormont debate ethics with Lieutenant General Snape while the former was having a poop. Done.